Hi Peter, it's good to see you again today.
Hey, how are you doing? Good.
Would you like a glass of water or anything?
No, I'm alright, thank you.
Alright, okay. How have things been since our last session?
Yeah, okay. Just busy,
Okay,
keeping things going.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, as we discussed last time, the focus of today's session was going to look over the results of the inventory of gambling situations, or IGS for shorthand. That you completed that last week.
Yeah.
Alright, perfect. And yeah, I've got a copy here for you and one for myself too. So today we'll just go through each area together and look at what might be triggering or maintaining your gambling. Yeah, it's just a good resource to get insight, I guess, into your gambling behaviour. How does that sound?
That sounds fine. Let's have a look, see what it says.
Yep. And I guess then from there we'll just build a case plan, so that will kind of have your goals and some practical strategies that will meet you where you're at, to work towards what you want to achieve, okay?
Perfect, okay.
Any questions at this stage?
No.
Okay.
Get into it.
Alright. I guess just before we start, I just wanted to check in with your main goal at the moment. Last time you mentioned wanting to stop gambling for a while. Is that still what you're working towards?
Yeah, I just want to prove to myself I can give it up. Like, stop gambling for 3 months.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, okay. That's really good. That gives us some clear direction. I'll just be making a few notes as we go, okay?
Yeah, that's no worries.
So then we can put everything together at the end. Okay, alright, so we'll just have a look at what might trigger those urges and just come up with some strategies to help you stay on track with stopping, at least for an initial period of time. Sound good?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, alright, so we'll start with the urges and temptations. This came up quite high for you, so I guess this area includes things like gambling when you have money in your pocket, or gambling out of habit. You mentioned that when gambling is easily available, or you've got money, the urge becomes really strong. Does that sound accurate for you?
Yeah, right, yeah, definitely. That sums me up pretty well. Yeah. And it's just ready to go and feels hard not to go for it.
Yeah. And that's very normal, and that's money and access are, they're risk factors. And as we work together more, we will look at these a bit more closely, but there are 4 things that are seen as important in a person's decision to gamble. So that's money, access, time, and then vulnerabilities are, like maybe stressful situations or other things that you've been going through, or who you hang out with, things like that. And we can unpack that a bit more as we work together over our sessions, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so it sounds like when gambling is accessible, it's really easy just to slip back into that, even when you're not actively planning to, I guess. And look, there are a lot of suggestions. There's a lot of strategies that we can consider when it comes to money. But it might be like, maybe setting up a system where you don't have access to a large sum of money. We could also look at tools like gambling blocker softwares, and I did print off a sheet for you today just to have a look when you go home. But there's an app, there's BetStop. You can also talk to your bank as well about, not blocking any gambling transactions on your credit or debit cards. And then there's the exclusion programs as well. Would that be something that you would be open maybe to trying?
Yeah, no, it definitely sounds like something kind of like what I've been trying to do a little bit.
Yeah.
We need to put it into the plan, just transfer money to partners, setting spending limits, etc. Stuff like that.
Yeah, and that way then, your partner's aware of it as well, and everyone's on board, and there's a bit of accountability, and I guess we can track it. Okay, another big one was winning and chasing. This was a strong area. So this area measures the belief you can win back losses or increase bets after a win. Some items here talk about trying to win back losses or gambling more after winning. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I always think I can get it back.
Yeah, and that chasing cycle can be really powerful. Especially when there is that belief that one more win will fix everything. Have you noticed how much you actually end up ahead when you gamble? Like, do you track it? Like, do you just break even, or are you always chasing the next win?
I don't know specifically. I don't keep track of it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And maybe that might be about. Maybe we can look into some interesting myths about gambling and the facts about your actual chance of winning. There's a lot of good research and information out there. That might be, an interesting read just to see how it all works. And sometimes it's about seeing the bigger picture that can challenge these talks. So it's just really about the odds and nature of gambling.
Right.
Okay, the next area is negative emotions. So things like gambling when you're feeling stressed, sad, or angry, or any emotion really. Your scores were quite high here too. Would you say this fits your experience?
Yeah, definitely. Usually when I'm stressed or feeling down, I go at it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like sometimes it might be a way to escape or not think about things. And many people struggle to see that connection, so that's a really positive thing to recognize. And maybe, it's about how we can recognize how certain negative or unhelpful or unrealistic thoughts can contribute to the gambling behavior. Would you be open, I guess, to focusing on that a bit over the next few sessions? Is that something you would be willing?
Yeah, if you think it'll help, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, okay. Alright, so we'll look at the confidence in skill next. So it seems like sometimes you feel very sure you can win with maybe the right system or strategy. I guess it's easy to feel like there's control in games, particularly sports betting. I guess given you're a job, you're probably maybe good at reading people or judging maybe what they're thinking. But even with skill, I guess there is a lot of chance involved.
Yeah, I feel like I can control it, especially with the sports betting. I think I'm always going to be winning.
Yeah.
But I don't.
Okay, yeah. And we can explore this further too. Maybe we can look at how some of those beliefs developed and maybe test them gently over time. One myth is sometimes we tell ourselves, I'm skilled enough gambler, I can beat the odds, but really skill has nothing to do with the outcome of playing, particularly when it comes to pokies or you're online on your phone betting. Would that feel okay?
Yeah, no, look at yeah, definitely would think that, but statistics prove it's the other way around.
Yeah.
The house always wins.
Yeah, and one maybe to kind of challenge that would actually be tracking what you are winning and losing, just to know how much. Okay, so you have social situations, and I know you spoke about how you like to go out with your friends. So this area was moderate for you. I guess would you say it is accurate to say that you gamble more when you're out with others or in social settings?
Yeah, look, definitely when you're out with mates at the pub or out in a social thing, whether you go to the pokies or wind up in the casino, yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So social events can be risky, yeah, because it's just part of the vibe. What would you think about maybe meeting friends in non-gambling venues, or being upfront with your close friends about your goal to take a break?
Yeah, it's something I definitely want to think about. Maybe reduce the social side of things a little bit, and then maybe just watch if I am going to something. Try and go to something that's not as temptation.
Yeah.
Remove temptation.
Yeah. Avoidant. Yeah. Have it part of your strategy. Yeah. Okay, so we've also got conflict with others. So this is gambling after fights or tension with loved ones. And a lot of these cross over and has similarities with other kind of sections. Sometimes it can be a bit repetitive. But this area was moderate to high, so I guess, would you say gambling has been a response to relationship stress?
Yeah, look, sometimes after you have an argument or a row or just not getting on, that's what I go with. That's my default. I go straight to pokies or I go to the casino.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it might be a way just to block things out or escape.
It's my distraction.
Yeah. And maybe we can explore other ways to process conflict, going for a walk or maybe even texting a close friend rather than going straight to either the casino or betting or gambling instead, if you were open to that. We also have pleasant emotions, and look, these few ones kind of still are similar with the negative emotions, but I guess gambling when excited or celebrating or in a good mood. You also scored a bit high here. I guess it's kind of similar to social situations. Do you ever gamble when you are celebrating or in a good mood?
Oh yeah, look, after you've heard a sail or had a good day at work, you think your luck will continue or that feel good factor will follow you into the pokies or into the casino.
You're invincible.
Oh yeah, put on the cape.
Yeah. So it's almost like a reward or a celebration, I guess.
That's it.
Yeah, okay. And maybe that might be thinking about some non-gambling ways that you could celebrate a win. Could be maybe just a dinner out with a partner or a friend. Really, whatever. Or I don't know, going to see a show.
I need to do something anyways. Come up with a new list of ways to celebrate.
Yeah. And it'll be trial and error. Some things might give you the same reward or feeling, and some things might not. It's just about trying to explore what that might look like for you, and building those habits. The next one was testing personal control. So that's, I guess, just to see if you can stop. Have you ever gambled just to test your willpower or prove you can control it?
Yeah, I've done that alright.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a personal challenge sometimes. And that might just look like, removing that need. Could be just setting some clear boundaries around that, like, removing the opportunity to gamble, avoid environments. Some of this sometimes often occurs in our social setting, so maybe it's just changing our routine for a bit.
Right. Yeah. Agree with you.
So sometimes a trigger can be the need for excitement, so gambling when you're bored or just looking for that bit of a thrill, which is quite normal as humans. So this one you scored. You scored high. So do you think, does gambling help you when you're feeling bored, or was a lack of excitement?
It does, but look, it has taken over so much of my life. If I'm not doing it, I feel like I'm just not at it.
Yeah.
So I need to fill my time with other things.
Yeah, and that's really common. All humans, we want a bit of stimulation and something to kind of keep us going. So maybe we can just look at some activities that might give you that same thrill but without the harm. That can be training at the gym, exploring different hobbies, music, dance shows, just depends. It can look whatever way you want to look.
Yeah.
Like that.
Give that a bit of thought.
Yeah, or sport. I don't know if you like to play sport as well.
Yeah.
So worry and depression then. So that's gambling when overwhelmed with worry or feeling low. And I know you kind of said that you do gamble sometimes to escape, but do you feel like gambling has been a way to escape or numb worry or depression?
Yeah, I definitely gamble at times just to block out things and just as a coping kind of mechanism.
Yeah. So kind of maybe a way to zone out from all the
pressure. Yes, to tune out. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay, that was really. Thanks for your patience going through all that. So there's a lot of good information there. And thanks for being so open today, Peter, and also when you were doing the self-assessment as well, being honest.
I need to be.
I guess to summarise what we've covered, the goal is to stop gambling for a period of time, and I'm open to suggestions, but I'm thinking maybe for the next 3 months we could have that as one of your goals, because the reason why I choose 3 months is because it takes time to form new habits and build change. It's not a quick fix, and 3 months gives us a bit of time to kind of review it as we go.
3 months before we start to try and
stop gambling for 3 months. So we'll just put it as a goal to stop gambling for a period of 3 months.
Right.
And that's the aim, that's what we're working towards. It may not always happen, but just to kind of see how we go, put strategies in place, and if something isn't working, at least then we can adjust it as we go along.
Sounds good.
Yeah, okay. And then a few of the higher risk areas, like the urges, the chasing wins, negative emotions, and we spoke about a few practical strategies for each one, so we'll use a few of what we discussed, and we'll build on them a bit more and kind of elaborate on them, and we'll review it regularly as we go forward. Okay, so this is a template that we use for our goals, so you'll get a copy of this afterwards. So it's broken down into goals, strategies, time frame, and then this is kind of when we come back to review it after a period of time. So your first goal, and for now, for the purpose of this, I'll just make a few notes and I'll elaborate a bit more on it, and then when we meet next time we'll come over and we'll review it closely together, and if we're both happy with it we'll sign it, and that'll be kind of our plan, and we'll keep coming back to this as we go forward. But we can change it if something isn't working or it's not suiting in with your life. We can also alter or change things.
It's not set in stone.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
So I think the first goal will be to stop all forms of gambling for the next 3 months, and we can use some strategies like the gambling apps, close all of them, unsubscribe from any gambling emails. Also, we can have a look at some of these tools like the block gambling apps and see if you want to put them on your phone. You can reduce access to money, by transferring money over to your partner's account and maybe just have cash for now. I know your partner's very supportive, you've mentioned that, so maybe asking her to help with monitoring the finances. And also I think it's good to have a list of reasons handy, either whether it's on your phone or in your wallet, depends if you carry a wallet, but just why you're doing this, just to keep coming back to it in your own kind of, I guess, moments when you may be doubting yourself or feeling like you have an urge, just to kind of
something to
get
make
through.
me set the focus and not deal with the urges that will no doubt come.
Yeah, and that's all part of it. So I think that comes to our next goal, maybe around managing urges and cravings to gamble, by using more healthier coping strategies like what we've discussed about. So I would like you to complete an urge or a craving tracker, and I do have some templates there, but maybe even if you just get a plain copy and you put it into maybe 5 lines, date, time, how long it lasted, for what prompted it, and how did you manage it. It just will give us a bit of help to kind of show us where you're at.
Just to record every time you feel an urge.
Yeah,
right.
And that way then it kind of might just give a bit of insight, maybe something happened that triggered that, and just what do we need to kind of be proactive around that. Some grounding and breathing techniques is really good. I know people often laugh at these things and think they're a bit tokenistic, but they do work, just to kind of pause and take a moment. Sorry, I have a tickle in my throat.
Right.
And then maybe developing a list of distraction activities. And between now and our next session, I do want you to have a little think, and I'll send you a summary text after we finish as well. But just around maybe distraction activities, whether it's the gym, cooking, calling a friend, things like that. And then I think the last one around a goal around managing stress and negative emotions. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it's something that needs to be addressed as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, based on what you've answered there's definitely a connection. So that'll be like kind of maybe working with me for the next little while, for the next 12 weeks or 3 months, and we can unpack that a bit more. And just, you know, set weekly personal goals. Also, you know, completing like your urge book, cravings,
yeah.
you know, those behavioural tasks between each sessions, they're really important.
Do you have a book, or do you just have, do I make up kind of a copybook of it?
I can give you, we have some copies here,
Templates.
so I can, at the end of the session, we'll do up the lines and we'll fill them in, and then each time you finish that line, you can
So
just,
they're ready
yeah,
to go, yeah.
just to
Okay.
give you an example. Okay, how I know that's just a few ideas there, but how does that sound?
Yeah, no, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
like something to a plan of attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I'll type that out a bit more neater so you can actually read it, and we'll put in some time frames for when some of these strategies should be actioned by. This isn't a quick fix, you know.
No, definitely not.
It's a slow. We'll take our time, get it right. Make changes where we need to, and we'll come back and we'll look at it next week. And if you're not happy or you want to change something, we can do that as well. Okay. Okay, and I guess just so you're aware, because just for expectations and understand what we do, our service, we offer gambling counselling support. Your information, like I mentioned, on financial planning tools, resources like the gambling apps and websites and things like that. Or it might be referrals to other supports like Gamblers Help, or there's financial counselling. We don't provide legal or debt advice, but we can connect you or send you in the right direction if that's something you find helpful as we go along.
Right.
If at any point I feel you need more specialised mental health support, as we go further on our journey and we get to know each other a bit better, I might suggest maybe that might be an option. Could be something as simple as going to your GP for a mental health care plan, or just linking with some other local mental health support services.
Yeah. No,
But that'll be a conversation.
Let's see how we go.
Yeah, just to make you aware. But
there's a lot in it.
Yeah. But other than that, how are you feeling about the case plan and kind of what we've discussed so far today? Do you feel that's something you can commit to for now?
Yeah, no, I have to give it a go. I have to try it.
Yeah, okay.
It's daunting, but it needs to be done.
Yeah, and look, we've gone over a lot today, and it'll, allow today process. If you have any questions, write them down, bring it in the next day. Next time we meet, we can go over them. And I guess just know that, I'm here to support you. This is what I do. We'll review the plan. I'll finalise everything and we'll have a look at it next week, and then as we work together in a few weeks, we'll see what's working and tweak anything that needs adjusting. And yeah, I really want to thank you for your honesty in filling out the form and you just being here today.
No, look, thank you for your help as well.
Okay, have you any concerns or questions right now?
No, just we'll go through that copybook and get things. Give me that list of actions, just because there's a lot there.
I'll send you a copy of kind of summary of what we've discussed, and I'll finalise the case plan, and I'll send you through a copy before we meet, just so you can have a review of it. Yeah. Same time next week.
Yes,
this is a good time for you.
Yeah, no, it keeps working out. So
all right, just so I'll keep that free, ongoing, and then if anything happens, I understand life happens, so don't worry if it needs to change.
Okay.
Alright, well, thanks again for being so open today. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you next time.
No problem. Thank you.
Alright, thanks, Peter. Take care.
Bye.